Hi, I'm Pramod Kumar and I'm going to teach you the mechanical vibration in the sixth semester. Objective of this lecture. So, this lecture is basically is to introduce into the mechanical vibration subject, and we'll just discuss about the basic terminology used in mechanical vibrations, and based on that, we'll build our concept on the mechanical vibration. So, these are the basic terminology. So the oscillating motions, they basically in vibrations we study the oscillatory motion, and the study of vibration is basically concerned with the oscillating motions of elastic bodies and the forces associated with them. So all body basically possesses mass and elasticity are capable of vibrations. Most engineering machines and structures experience vibrations to some degrees, and design generally requires consideration of their oscillatory motion. So oscillatory system can be broadly characterized as linear or non-linear. So in this case, in the oscillating motions, we have two systems, which is called a linear system. In the linear system, basically is based on the principle of superpositions, and the mathematical techniques are available for their system analysis and well developed. Another system is non-linear system. The principle of superposition does not hold here, and the technique for the analysis of the non-linear systems are basically under development, or less well known and difficult to apply. So we will just consider our study, we confine our study to the linear system only, and we'll just touch upon some non-linear system also, which will be taught in the later stage of the lectures. All systems basically tend to become non-linear with increasing amplitude of oscillations. So these are basically non-linearity introduced to the system. There are two general classes of vibrations. Basically, if we just classify the vibration into the general two broad categories, these are basically forced and free vibrations. So free vibrations basically it takes place when a system oscillates under the action of forces inherent in the system itself due to initial disturbance, and when the externally applied forces are absent. So free vibration basically it's absent. It's because of an absence of the external forces. The system under free vibrations will vibrate at one or more of its natural frequencies, which are properties of the dynamical system and established the mass and stiffness distribution. So if you have just studied the spring mass system in the even in the spring mass system, you have studied about the free vibrations, and with that our understanding will just continue our concept based on that, and we'll study more about the free vibration. So in force vibrations, the vibration that takes place under the excitation of external forces called force vibrations. What we have already seen in the video, that means external force is applied. If excitation is harmonic, the system is forced to vibrate at excitation frequencies. Of course, frequency. Suppose if the forces applied is in the same what we apply in the particular harmonic type, then the excitation will be in the same having the same frequency. Thus, the calculation of natural frequencies will be major importance of the study of that vibration. So, whatever the frequency of the external force applied will be the same frequency of that vibrations. The damped vibration, which is basically very much required in automobile industry, we'll talk about all the examples for the damped vibrations, where the energy of the vibrating system is gradually dissipated by the friction and other resistance. The vibrations are said to be damped. So here, basically, you must be knowing that means whenever we just ride a vehicle, ride a bike or car, whenever you just, for example, if you're riding a bike, you can see that means if you're just going through one speed breaker, that the vehicle starts vibrating, but we do not want that vibration. We now want vibration to be died out immediately. So for that, we need to just have the damper system in that in that damper in that system, so that the vibration is reduced immediately or within a fraction of a second. So that is the basically damped vibrations, where the energy is dissipated by the friction or other resistance. So therefore, the vibration gradually reduces or change in frequency or intensity, or sees the system rest in its equilibrium position. Now we'll understand few other terms which will be used in mechanical vibrations, such as degree of freedom. So degree of freedom you might have studied in other subjects like dynamics of machines or strength materials. But here I'm going to just touch upon on the few things of the degree of freedoms which will be used in this chapter, this topic as well as this subject. So degree of freedom is basically the number of independent coordinates required to describe the motion of system is termed as degree of freedom. For example, a particle, there is one particle can have three positions: length, width, and the length, width, and thickness. So in all three positions, particles can be defined in all three positions. So that's why we can call it as a three. It's having a 3 degree of freedom. Rigid body will have a three positions as well as three orientation. Three positions, that means in x, y, z positions, it can be placed at x, y, z positions, as well as three orientation. That means it can rotate. It can just have rotate about x-axis, rotate about y-axis, rotate about z-axis. So three orientations. So that's why we'll call it as having a 6 degree of freedoms. And continuous elastic body, that means elastic body, it can just have a it can have a rotate, it can just elongate, it can just rotate, oscillate, something like that. So it can have an infinite degree of freedom. So three positions to each particle of the body. So in that way we can have infinite degree of freedom for the continuous elastic body. So we'll just go through all those things, and but just for the sake of knowledge, for the knowledge sake, you just understand that these are the degree of freedoms which are available in the mechanical vibration. In part of such, continuous elastic body may be assumed to be the rigid or lumped, and system may be considered to be dynamically equivalent to one having infinite degree of freedom. So large number of vibration problems can be analyzed with a sufficient to reduce to the system of one having a few degree of freedom. So now we will study about the vibration measurement terminologies. Since this is basically a lecture based on the understanding the basic terminologies, we'll understand the how the vibration is measured and what are the terms used in the vibration measurement techniques. Some peak values. Peak values basically is indicates the maximum response to the vibrating part. It also places a limitation on the rectal space requirement. So you have seen that means the amplitude of amplitude of vibrating motion is basically the peak value. Peak value will have will have a peak value, and as well as average value is basically indicate a steady or static value, somewhat like the DC level of the electric current, and it is defined in this type of mathematical format, where x bar is equal to limit t tends to infinity under bracket 1 by t and integration from 0 to 2x into t dt, where x is the function of time, and 1 by t basically where is the time. So this is the basically average value of that was the initial was the peak value. This is the average value, where xt is the displacement and t is the time span for the for example time period. So damping is of great importance to limiting the amplitude of oscillation at the resonance. There are few examples for the few based on the damping vibrations. Basically x is the x function is basically xt will be can be shown as a sine omega t. A can be said as amplitude, omega t is angular frequency, and t is the time. So in this way, we can have the integration of x bar, okay, 1 by, if you just integrate it by 0 to pi, 2 pi is that basically the time span, then this will be the final will be the 0. So there will be the displacement of will be the 0 at the one particular time span. So we will have the same position at the after at the end of the time span 2 pi. So this will be the complete one cycle of sine wave. For the half cycle of the sine wave, we'll just integrate it to 0 to pi. Into 0 to pi, we'll just get that the x bar, that means average value, will be 0.637 amplitude. So half of the wave, the amplitude will be the average mean value of the average value of the amplitude will be 0.637 of the previous amplitude, where a is the amplitude of the displacement. So mean square value, a square of the displacement generally is associated with the energy of the vibration, for which the mean square value is a measure and is defined as x square bracket here limit t tends to infinity and under bracket 1 by t is equal to time span, and here integration from 0 to full time span x square, and which is the function of t and delta t. So this is the basically mathematical expression for the mean square value. Example for the mean square value for a complete cycle of sine wave, we can have a RMS. RMS x of RMS will be here 1 by half. That means square root of root mean square value will be this one half, and a by 2, that will be 0.707 amplitude. So this is basically root mean square value, RMS value. So now I will come to the very particular things which is known as decibel. If there is a vibration, and because of the vibrations, basically we hear, we listen. So you must be knowing, that means whatever I'm teaching you, you are just reading it, and you are just understanding it, because you get that point on your through your ear, and how this energy, how this our sound, how my sound basically is going into your ear. It's because the vibrations, there are lots of vibrations coming, there are lots of vibrations which my mouth basically generate, and it is transmitted through this medium, and it reaches to your ears, and ear again, eardrum is basically vibrate, and because of that vibrations, energy is generated, and that energy is basically converted into some other neuro uh, some energy, some neuro charge, which is basically read by the brain, and that's why you just understand what I is speaking. So sometimes if sometimes if a person used to speak loudly, then you can call it, so that person's decibel, that means the decibel is high. Or if the person is speaking very slowly, that means we can call it its decibel is low. Decibel means it's basically a unit of relative measurement of the vibration and sound. So it is basically, and in mathematically we define it in the terms of power ratio. So decibel here is basically termed in dB, which is 1 over 110 log base 10 P1 by P2, where P is the power, since power is proportional to the square of amplitude of the vibration of voltage, which is easily measurable. Hence dB is equal to dB, that means decibel will be 10 log base 10 a1 by a2 whole square. So if is whole square is there, then if you just simplify it, then it will be 20 log base 10 a1 by a2, where a is the amplitude. For the amplitude gain of 5, the decibel has a gain of dB equal to 20 log 10 10 to the 10 log 5 base 10. It will be, that means 14. So So in vibration, decibel is used to express relative measured value of displacement, velocity, and acceleration. So dB here in decibel is basically 20 log 10, uh, uh, 20 log base 10 A1 by A2, where Z is the basically quantity under consideration, for example, displacement, velocity, or acceleration. Z0 is the reference value, for example, the velocity V0 equal to 10 to the minus 8 meter per second, and the acceleration is A0 is 9.81 into 10 to the minus 6 meter per second square. For example, decibel 20 means 10 times the reference value. That means dB equal to 20 into 20 log 10 base 10. Hence 40 decibel means 100 times the reference value. That means if the 40 dB log 10 base 10 will be 20 log 10 to the power 2. So it will be 100 times than the reference value. So for the better understanding, you just concentrate about how decibel it is. If it is increases by a slight value, it basically increases logarithmically. So it's a huge quantity to. It is basically important measured quantity. It is important quantity to be understand. So there is some octave. The octave is used for the relative measurement of the frequency. If the two frequencies having ratio 2 is to 1, the frequency span is 1 octave. For example, f max and f mean is 20 and 10, then octave will be log 2 base 2. So here log base 2 and 2 will be 1. If its maximum is 30 and minimum is 10, then it will be log base 2 3. So, and if log base 3 2 will be same as log 10 log base 10 3 or log 2 base 10. That means 0.477 divided by 0.3010, it will be 1.585. So when the upper limit of frequency range is twice its lower limit, then the frequency span is to be 1 octave. So here we can call it, if the f max is equal to 20 and f min is 10, that means is 2 is to 1, then it is octave will be the 1. If it is 3 times than the minimum, if maximum is 3 times than a minimum, then then its octave value is 1.583. It's not 3 times, as you can call it, as you have seen it in the first case. If it is double than the minimum, then it is octave is 1. If it's triple than the minimum, it's not 2 times, it is 1.58 times. If it is 4 times this one, then it will be double, then it will be double 2 times. So some other basic terminologies are the oscillating motions basically repeat itself regularly. For example, pendulum of a wall clock. So display irregularity, for the example earthquake. So periodic motions, the motion repeat at equal interval of time. So period of oscillation, that means the time taken for one repetition is called period. So frequency is equal to frequency, which is normally term is f equal to 1 by t. So t equal to the period of periodic motion. It is defined reciprocal of the time period. The condition of periodic motion is equal to xt plus t equal to xt. That means the time period will be the same. That means the motion will be the same after the particular time span, where motion is designated by the time function xt. So simple harmonic motions, we'll study some simple harmonic motions also. So you understand that means the simplest form of this periodic motion is the harmonic motion. It is called as simple harmonic motion. It is expressed as x equal to a sine omega t by capital T, where a is the amplitude of motion and t is the time span, and t is the period of motion. If you can see that means if 0 is x is the origin, and p is the point which is just rotating about this one, about O, having a radius a, then you can find this you can find the rotation of, that means motion of that of point P in this sinusoidal function, which will be termed as x equal to a sine omega t, and having the time period t, and theta will be the omega t. So here we have x equal to PRQS, that means A sine omega t, and x is the displacement, omega is the circular frequency, which will have which will have the unit in radian per second, and omega will be 2 pi by t, that means 2 pi f, that means frequencies, where t is the time period and f is frequencies. So SHM, that means simple harmonic motion repeats in 2 pi radians. Displacement can be expressed in the x omega sine omega t, and the velocity will be that means derivative of that one will be the velocity, and the derivative of the velocity will be the accelerations. If you just see in this acceleration, that means it will repeat itself, and now you can see in this one in this fashion. So here the all three basically are in the same amplitude, same motion, same having the same this one, but same this one same type of motion. However, they are just differ in the phase. But see, you can see x and x dash differ in phase by pi by 2, that is 90 degree. However, this x and x dash differ by 180 degree. It's just opposite of this one. Just if it goes up, it is going down. It is going down, it is going up, it is going down. So this is x, that means displacement, as well as the acceleration is having the phase difference 180, and the velocity and displacement is having the phase difference of 90 degree. So we define in the SHM in the terms of acceleration as x double dash equal to minus omega x, that means displacement. So in this way we can in exponential form we can have the Euler equations in this way, and we will see about this also. So these are the few examples. The harmonic motions has basically has amplitude of 0.2 centimeter and a period of 0.5 second determine the maximum velocity and acceleration. The frequency is given by, you understand the formula of the frequency is basically circular frequency, that means 2 pi by t, 2 pi by t. So frequency will be given by this one, so that will be 41.89 seconds. The maximum velocity is given by x dash max is equal to omega a, that means this frequencies we have already calculated, and the amplitude, that means 8.38 centimeter per second, and maximum acceleration will be given by omega square a, that means the omega a basically we have calculated it, and a is given, and we can find this way the solution of. And based on the exercises we had, these are the few problems. There are few exercises which is given to the class. That means first is calculate the maximum acceleration in unit will be g, that means gram of a pick up a stylus reproducing a frequency of 16 kilohertz with amplitude of 0.01 millimeter, and the answer will be this one. So you have to calculate this one. You might have a sufficient amount of clarity based on what examples we have done, and this is another exercise, and you can just go through the previous slides, and you can find how to solve this problem, and you just check your answer and report to me. These are the basically books, and these books will be basically constant for all lectures, and with besides few books, we'll just time to time will give you a few others books to go through, and that will be good for you also. Otherwise, if this book is available, you can purchase it or you can have it. Thank you.